Welcome to the, sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. Good morning. It's good to see all of you online today. I'm Teresa Madsen with the OUUC Tech Team. We're leading worship from several locations today, and as the service moves back and forth between us, you'll be able to see whoever is speaking if you put your screen on speaker view. And you can see us singing together if you go back to gallery view. We'll also be using the chat box throughout the service to post the song lyrics and to share joys and sorrows. You can turn the chat off and on by clicking on the chat icon. You might want to find that now. We can expect some tech glitches as we continue to do all we can to optimize our connection. We appreciate your grace as we all remember it's about connection, not perfection. One suggestion is that if you're having trouble with your audio reception, you might try turning off your video or putting your screen on speaker view again to see if that helps. Last, I hope you will find a chalice or a candle. In a moment, we can light them together. Thank you for your grace and adaptability as we all learn together.
Good morning. Let's sing together. We're going to start by singing out of the Gray Hymn Book. Hymn number 38 is the page number, Morning Has Broken, or you can find the lyrics in the chat. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the world. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlight from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where God's feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of that one light Eden saw play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. Thank you for singing.
Good morning. Welcome to the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation online worship service. The OUUC community comes together in the mutual promises and possibilities of our covenant. We commit to live out our mission to be a liberal religious community that opens minds, fills hearts, and transforms lives. We're so glad that you are here with us this morning. My name is Christine Park, and I'm a member of the Worship Arts team. Leading worship with me today is our minister, the Reverend Mary Gear, Sarah Lewis, our Director of Community and Faith Development, and Troy Fisher, our music director. We will also hear from our coming of age youth today. As always, we thank the tech team for providing technical support that keeps us all going. Also thanks to Administrator Darlene Sarkala, who keeps us connected and informed. We are so very grateful for the many hands that helped make worship happen this morning. And we are grateful that you are here. We welcome each of you to this celebration of love and wonder and to this congregation. When the service ends, we invite you to stay online for a virtual coffee get-together. This is a chance to gather with a small group to say hello and check in. We'll have more information at the end of the service. I do want to draw your attention to the order of service, which is available on the website. It also includes a number of announcements. Today, after the service and the virtual coffee get-together, we'll hold our monthly question and answer session Reverend Mary and members of the Building Capacity Task Force will be available to answer your questions about building your use during the pandemic and the protocols we will use when we reopen. You can stay on the Zoom call after the coffee hour or join us at about 11:20. If you do leave and come back later, you can use the same Zoom link as for this service. Another announcement, the OUUC Giving and Receiving Drive-Through event is on for this afternoon. Plan to come by OUUC between 3 and 4:30 p.m. You can stop by to donate books and school supplies. You can drop off your dead batteries for recycling. You can receive chalice making kits, and we'll have religious education supplies for families. Drive, bike, bus, walk, and don't forget to wear your mask. We hope to see you there. On Saturday, September 26th, OUUC leaders are invited to come together to envision the new year and make some plans together. Everyone is a leader and everyone is welcome. We'll gather on Zoom from 1 to 3 p.m. Saturday afternoon. Login information is available on the website and in the Wednesday electronic update. Lastly, please join us this Thursday at 7 p.m. for our regular evening of spiritual practice, the last in a series that explores how we can stay spiritually grounded. The login information can be found on the OUUC website. There are so many opportunities to stay connected. Social distancing does not mean our social isolation. I invite you to check the website regularly. If you have questions or need help, please contact a staff member. Now, let us open our hearts and minds as we prepare for worship. Welcome, everyone. It is good to be together.
When would you like to light the chalice?
Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. All right. As we light this chalice, we take all those little sparks glowing within all of us and combine them to create this flame. So, if you have a little chalice.
Our opening words today are Work Without Hope by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. All nature seems at work. Slugs leave their lair, the bees are stirring, birds are on the wing, and winter slumbering in the open air, wears on his smiling face a dream of spring. And I the while, the sole unbusy thing, nor honey make, nor pair, nor build, nor sing, yet well I ken the banks where amaranths blow, have traced the fount whence streams of nectar flow. Bloom, O ye amaranths, bloom for whom ye may, for me ye bloom not, glide rich streams away. With lips unbrightened, wreathless brow I stroll, and would you learn the spells that drowse my soul? Work without hope draws nectar in a sieve, and hope without an object cannot live. Come, let us worship together.
Let's sing together our opening hymn. It's This Little Light of Mine, hymn number 118. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, well, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Thank you for singing.
Coming of age is a Unitarian Universalist rite of passage, much like a bar or bat mitzvah in the Jewish tradition or confirmation in the Christian tradition. For Unitarian Universalist youth, coming of age is a time to reflect on their own beliefs and values and to share those with the congregational community, a symbolic moment of recognizing them as individuals separate from their identity with their families. These youth today started this journey of coming of age back in fall of 2019, meeting monthly with me and a team of mentors to explore various aspects of Unitarian Universalism: history, governance, spiritual practice, theology, social justice, and more. And then COVID caused us to have to cancel the culminating events of the year: a service project for each youth and a camping retreat with a silent vigil. Well, we regrouped and came back together this summer with a fire circle and solo vigils that could be done wherever youth wanted, whether that was their backyards, their bedrooms, a park, or anywhere else. And I have no doubt that these young people will find a way to be of service in the coming years. So watch for those service projects to pop up as we are able. I've known many of these youth since they were very young, some of them all of their lives. And it is my deep pleasure to introduce them to you all today. Sean is not with us today, but he completed the program. And Sean has been with the congregation since he was very young. Dionysus, or Dio Lewis, Elsie Sable, Austin Trujillo, Wynn Harrington, and John Zicker. I also want to thank the families. Coming of age may seem like it's a hands-off moment for parents, but sometimes that's the hardest thing to do as a parent. And I know that there was much behind the scenes support. So thank you to Tiffany and Eric Felch, Jen and John Sable, Brian and James Trujillo, Zibby and Barry Zicker, Kate and Sean Harrington, and Noel Marshall, and I guess I'm thanking myself as well. And to our mentors who gave their time to build these connections with youth this year and support them in the journey: Gail Gosney-Reed, Joe Joy, Kelly Thompson, Gracie Bucklew, and Neil Weinberg. Thank you all so much.
came into community this morning bringing all that is in our lives. In this space, we draw on our community for renewal and for the strength to hold all that we bring here with us. We take the time now to share some of the joys and sorrows that have been offered. If you would like to send in a joy or sorrow this week, please look for the link on the online worship page on the website, and we'll bring it into the service next week. Right now, I invite us to take a deep breath together, in and out, and let us open our hearts to receive all that is in our community today. Samara Holdersma sends her thanks for the many cards from OUUC members and friends on the loss of her life partner, Tom. Samara's spirit and heart were so touched and uplifted by the love and appreciation expressed. Tom's obituary will be published in the Olympian today, and it was in the OUUC weekly update last Wednesday. You can find it on the website. Tom's family plans to celebrate his life and inter his ashes in the OUUC columbarium when we can gather in person again. Samara, we continue to send our love and care to you and your family in this time of grief, and we celebrate Tom's life with you. We take just a moment now to honor the life and work of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who died on Friday. She spent much of her legal career advocating for gender equality and women's rights, and she was just the second woman appointed to serve on the Supreme Court. She was a consistent and strong voice for civil rights and human rights. Justice Ginsburg died on the first evening of Rosh Hashanah. The Jewish tradition says that those who die during the high holy days are called righteous ones. May the person who fills her seat on the court honor her legacy. RGB, thank you for your strong voice and life's work. May you rest in peace. Don and Rosalie Melnick ask for our care as Don has day surgery on Tuesday, September 22nd, with the hope that this will alleviate some of his back pain. Don, we send you healing love and wishes for a successful surgery and a speedy recovery. And last, new member Marge Lindsay asks us to send positive thoughts to her and her family as they search for new housing. Their intergenerational family of 6 will need all the help they can get to find a suitable home. Marge, our positive thoughts and hope for the perfect home are on their way to you. I invite you to enter your sorrows in the chat box on your screen. We'll do the joys in a moment. Let's hold all of our sorrows first. And today, you will hear a drum beat as we share our joys and sorrows in the chat. It brings into our awareness that our individual hearts beat, and together we create the heartbeat of our community. As we take in the sorrows that are posted, let us reach out our hearts in love and care to all those who share. I place a stone in the water for all of the sorrows shared. And in the midst of it all, we look for moments of joy. I invite you to enter your joys in the chat on the screen. And as we take in all that is posted, listen to the heartbeat of our community and let us reach out our hearts in celebration to all those who share. I place a stone in the water of our community for all of the joys shared. And one more stone for our joys and sorrows that we hold close in our hearts, placed in the water of our community. I invite you now into a time of reflection, prayer, and meditation. Infinite web of life, spirit of love, great mysteries that surrounds and holds us. In the stillness of this moment, help us remember to breathe. With gratitude for the rain and the clear air, we reach out with care to those who are longing for both. In the stillness of this moment, help us notice the turning of the wheel. This is the time of the vernal equinox when the daylight and night are in balance. Help us remember that the wheel of the year turns, that the cycle of life continues, that nature balances out over time. With gratitude for the turning, we reach out to each other in our unbalance these days. In the stillness of this moment, help us hear this autumn prayer by Christine Robinson. God of the autumn, help us to live with the grace of falling leaves, the enthusiasm of the flaming aspens, with the serenity of the old trees whose roots reach deep into the earth. God of the autumn, help us to know that living and dying are one, that life is precious and beautiful and limited, that nothing good is ever lost. God of the autumn, help us to see in the ways of nature a way for ourselves. Blessed be and amen. Let us hold a moment of silence together.
Let's sing together, building bridges. Building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we can make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony.
Our prayers and meditations deepen our gratitude for what we know as sacred in our lives and in this world. Each Sunday, we take an offering as part of our gathering. This is an opportunity to contribute to both the support of this congregation, as well as an opportunity to support social justice and social action in our community. Half of the money that we collect, other than pledges, is shared with a local organization that is working toward the same goals that we are. In this manner, we are able to engage in issues that concern our larger community. We are able to put our principles into concrete action. This month, our Share the Plate recipient is Cielo. Since 1996, Cielo has provided hope to immigrants in Thurston and neighboring counties. It empowers people to create better lives for themselves and to achieve their dreams. And it offers education for all ages, counseling services, and advocacy for those who have been crime victims. Cielo is a community hub where people form strong bonds with other immigrants, the staff, and the many volunteers who make the work possible. You can participate in the offering by making a donation online through the church website or by texting the number that will appear on your screen in just a moment. You can also mail a check to OUUC. As you know, our community partners continue to need our financial support. May the offering be generously given, as it is gratefully received.
Joe, I think we're not hearing the sound.
Yeah, you have to click the share sound button.
in my chest. I'll figure out a way to get us out of here. Turn off the porcelain face. I can't really think right now in this place. There's too many colors, enough to drive all of us insane. Are you dead? Sometimes I think I'm dead, 'cause I can feel ghost needles wrapping my head. But I don't wanna fall asleep just yet. My eyes went dark. I don't know where. My pupils are, but I'll figure out a way to get us out of here. Get a look at this monster. He doesn't know how to communicate. His mind is in a different place. Will everybody please give him a little bit of space? Get a look at this train wreck. His hair's a mess and he doesn't know who he is yet. But little do we know the stars welcome him with open arms. Time is slowly tracing his face. Strangely, he feels at home in this place.
Sorry, I got a little distracted. Thank you for your generous gifts. Now we will hear from our youth who have brought their credos to us today. And the first is Wynn Harrington.
Okay. I'm thinking I'm just going to keep this simple. And that's how I would consider my belief spiritually, too. Simple. I believe that there's some intention to the universe, but not necessarily in the form of a personality and an entity. I believe that regardless of whatever supreme powers may exist, they're reflected in love, non-judgment, and respect on Earth. After all, I believe that love and respect are what should drive the way we treat others in this world. Nothing. Hate is deeply unholy. This is, I think, what I really personally believe. Good intentions, open-mindedness, people over any politics, and Earth's life before anybody's personal gain are my values. From past to present, they've always been very important ideals of mine, and in the future, I hope to become a better version of myself and someone who upholds those to a greater extent. That's all.
This, I believe. I believe people should be kind to each other because it makes life better for everyone at no cost to ourselves. I believe that every person is worthy of respect. Respect is not something that a person must prove they deserve. It is a basic human decency belonging to all people, no matter their age, wealth, or status. I believe that respect and kindness are linked. It is impossible to truly be kind to a person without first respecting them. I believe that the importance of family is overstated in today's society. A person with an abusive or problematic family should not feel compelled to stay with that family. I believe that discrimination helps no one and hurts everyone. Discrimination only causes divides between groups who could otherwise live together and benefit from each other. I believe that not everything has to be positive all the time. Expecting that or attempting to get it will only bring more negative experiences than positive ones. I believe that ultimately everyone has the capability to do good, but not everybody will. And people should be judged based on their actions, not on what they have the capability to do. I believe that a human life is worth more than any amount of money or goods. I believe in the equality of all people. I believe that humor is very important in life. It allows for connections between people and makes hard things in life easier to cope with. I believe that every person deserves the right to live as they want to live. No one should have to hide parts of themselves. I believe we need to protect natural areas. Protecting creatures and other living things that cannot protect themselves is something that all people should strive to do. I believe that education is extremely important. An educated society has more tools allowing it to progress and evolve. And ultimately, I believe this. Everyone is human and deserves to be treated with kindness, respect, and dignity.
Hello, my name is Austin Trujillo, he, him, and I am going to be reading my creed. I'm just going to be blunt about my beliefs. I believe that science is real. There are reasons behind scientific theories. People exist. The world we live in also exists. I believe that the best way to learn is through experience, rather than having information handed out on a silver platter. That the purpose of life is to find your purpose. Life is a journey, not a command. It's meant to enjoy and experiment with. I do not believe that there is some bearded puppet master in the sky, sitting on a throne made of clouds with a projector screen and torturing people for all eternity. I just don't see that happening. I believe in art, writing, and expressing oneself. I believe in peaceful walks and laughter. I believe in spending time with people, accepting and respecting all. I believe in taking life a little at a time. That all questions are valid questions because life, like all things, is always changing and we never know what to expect. I believe that dogs are proof that love exists. I believe that gender roles are immoral and should be eliminated entirely. There is a metaphor that I often think about when it comes to accepting others, accepting people. If you think of like a thousand piece puzzle, and maybe maybe one or two pieces are missing, would you still try to put it together, or would you throw it out the minute you saw the missing pieces? Or maybe imagine what it would be like trying to put that together. And even though it's not perfect, it's still beautiful. Try giving the puzzle a shot.
name is Dionysus Lewis. My pronouns are they, them. I love the universe. I love the sea. I'm happy with my place as a human being. I'm not much more than that. You may know me. I practically grew up in the church. OUUC and this community are integral to who I am, despite me not being that religious of a person. I also hesitate to call myself spiritual, but in practice, maybe I am. There are 7 values I hold near and dear to my heart. You could call them my personal 7 principles. People usually get a kick out of that. Number 1. I think the closest I've ever gotten to believing in God is one day when I was taking the bus to a theater class. It had been pouring rain all day, and I had to walk several blocks to the theater. But as soon as I stepped off the bus, the rain died down and turned to a slight drizzle. And then, as I was walking, whenever I got to a crosswalk, the light turned green. Every single time. That may just sound like a couple of neat coincidences, but it convinced me that something was looking out for me. And let me remind you, that was the closest I've ever gotten. I don't believe in God. I never really have. What I do believe in is the energy of the universe. Not as in the universe is some intelligent, omnipresent being, just that it's an energy that flows between and through everything that exists. I don't have a definition for it. It's hard to explain, but I deeply value the world. Number 2. 2 of the original 7 principles have really stuck with me over the years. They're all great, but these 2 have shaped me as a human being and are constantly at the back of my mind. Right now, I'll be talking about the 7th. The other I'll get into later. For all the UU noobs out there, the 7th principle is the interconnected web of life. The interconnected web, to me, is the connection between all life. It's like the world is one giant beating heart, and we're all the blood pumping in through it. And let me make this clear. I'm not only talking about humans. We are just a drop in the blood bucket of life. We may seem very important, but we're extremely biased in that conclusion. But at the risk of sounding hypocritical, I love humans. I love humanity itself. It's truly amazing what we can accomplish, how creative we are. Number 3, I deeply value nature. I often lump it along with the world and universe, but I feel it deserves its own paragraph. The closest thing I'll get to spiritual is when I'm alone in nature. I completely wipe my mind, leaving only awe and appreciation. During my vigil, I was staying at my grandparents' cabin on the Sound. I was completely alone besides the seals yelling across the bay and the remnant vibration of a speedboat. I fell backwards into the ocean with my jeans and all, just staring up at the clear sky and the trees. I was between 2 seemingly infinite surfaces, the ocean and the sky. I don't know if I've ever felt more connected to the world besides then. Moments like that are few and far between. But every time it happens, something snaps into place inside of me. I feel completely whole. Who would I be if I didn't love nature after that? Life is a magical thing. It never ceases to amaze me. We're alive. We're surrounded by life. It permeates everything we do, everything we are. Number 4. This may seem basic, but another one of my core principles is kindness. It's pretty simple. Be compassionate. Be kind. Do things for other people. In the back of my mind, the concept of other people is always waiting to pounce. Not pounce in a negative way, per se, just that it informs everything that I do. I'm constantly thinking of how my actions affect others. Number 5. One thing I've always admired in humans is creativity. I'm sure other animals possess what we've named creativity as well, but it's especially apparent in humans. There's this need to create that's in all of us. It's beautiful. Number 6. Here's the other principle I was talking about earlier. The one that has really stuck with me over the years is the inherent worth and dignity of all people. What that means to me is simple. No matter what anyone has done, you respect their humanity. You don't have to respect them, their views, or their actions, but you must respect their humanity. Number 7. And finally, the one we've all been waiting for, justice and acceptance. Now, I don't mean justice in the legal sense. There is no justice in the prison industrial complex, the death sentence, or the systemic racism that makes up the legal system. No, I'm talking about equity, about everyone having what they need to thrive in life. And I will fight for that until my last breath. And maybe I don't think I'll ever see that day, when there are no queer or neurodivergent kids out in the street, when communities take care of each other, and when whatever government or lack thereof supports that. But that doesn't mean I'll stop fighting for it. Thank you.
I'd like to start this off with a quote from one of my favorite books by Terry Pratchett. It's a popular fact that 9/10 of the brain is not used, and, like most popular facts, it's wrong. It is used, and one of its functions is to make the miraculous seem ordinary and turn the unusual into the usual. Because if this was not the case, then human beings, faced with the daily wondrousness of everything, would go around wearing big stupid grins. They'd say wow a lot, and no one would do much work. I know that was long, but I like this quote because it really made me think. And even though this book is in a totally fictional world, it still had commentary on our own. And even if the science behind it is a bit off, it's right. I've been wondering recently if the world really is a wonderful place. One way you could think about it is that the world is incredible and you just have to take the time to appreciate it. Not just the fact that we have food and a roof over our head, but things like photosynthesis, and that the earth is in a perfect little sweet spot for human life. There are really a lot of things that we can appreciate if we just take the time to see them. I've also been wondering what my upbringing has to do with my view of the world. I was pretty lucky in the being born department, and I think my life has been pretty good so far. But I know that so many people have it worse than me. So is the world really as wonderful as I think it is? Or do I just think it is because I've had such a sheltered upbringing? Is my outlook on life so incomplete that I just ignore all the bad parts? I mean, maybe the world really is terrible and I'm just too blind to see it. Which brings me to what I actually believe. I think that there is truth in both of these arguments, so I can't say that the world is amazing and nothing bad ever happens without reason, because it does. I believe that the world isn't necessarily good or bad. It's just filled with potential. We can do so many things right now for good or for bad, and a lot of them would be really stupid, but we could theoretically do them. But I also can't just ignore that my upbringing has been great. I think acknowledgement is the key to this. When I was younger, many adults tried to hammer it into me that my life was easy, that I had it so much better than those children in Africa. They also always use Africa as an example, but that's a talk for another time. I know what they were trying to do, but it never worked. What they taught us instead was that whatever hardship we came across in our lives was nothing compared to what others experience, so we should never complain. Which is wrong. Everybody has their own struggles and every struggle is valid. Instead, I wish they had taught us that it's okay if you're having a bad day or feel sad. But at the same time, we should know that life goes on around us and our struggles aren't the only ones out there. We can acknowledge that we're going through hard times, but we can also acknowledge that some people have it harder than us. So, if the world really isn't wonderful, what's the point? Good question. I believe that the world is what we make of it. It is our duty as people with massive amounts of potential to help those less fortunate than us. The world isn't inherently good, but we can make it good. I want everyone to have as good of an upbringing as I had, and I know that may not be possible, but I can try. There are so many things that we need to fix in society these days, from workers not getting a living wage to the climate crisis to anti-Semitism, and I want to do something about it. I wasn't placed in this position of power for nothing, And though I may struggle with the nature of the world in the future, right now I want to make it better.
Thank you, Wynne and John and Austin and Dionysus and Elsie, for sharing this part of your faith journey with us and inviting us to witness it with you. This congregation has seen you learn and change and grow over time. Our love has been with you all along, and it is with you now. We have known you as members of a family, and while you remain so, today we recognize you as individuals on your own journey. You have learned from your families and your mentors, growing as a person. We each have our own journey, and we all journey together. And if we open our hearts, minds, and hands, we learn and grow together throughout our lives. I invite the members and friends of the OUUC community to join me in recognizing these young people with the words that will be on the screen and in the chat. Please say these words with me. We believe in you. We love you. We promise you our continuing friendship and share with you the hopes and labors of making this a better world. May we continue to learn and grow together. Two of the youth have decided to join OUUC as members, Elsie Sable and Austin Trujillo. Elsie and Austin, we celebrate your commitment to membership in the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We recognize this commitment today in worship as we hold up that which is of worth, sharing our voices in song, sharing words and silence, sharing our joys and sorrows, sharing our work for justice, sharing ministry. Joining OUUC means being part of this gathered community, speaking out on the future of our congregation, offering and receiving the gifts of the Spirit, supporting others, and being supported in return. Elsie is traveling with her family today and so not present. Austin is here with us. Austin, if you will join in this mission and work, please unmute yourself and say, I will.
I will.
You gotta get say I will.
I will.
Thank you, Austin.
We welcome you as new members of our community this morning. You have come to worship, play, work, and grow among us. Ours is a free fellowship. We have no creeds, and you are free to bring your ideas and beliefs to this congregation to share with others. I invite you to join with us in the religious search for meaning and purpose in life, informed by our individual beliefs and the traditions of Unitarian Universalism.
Will the members of the congregation please welcome Elsie and Austin with the words on the screen and in the chat. We receive you with open hands and hearts. As you join us, we once again renew our own commitment to this religious community and to our shared vision, to be a liberal religious community that opens minds, fills hearts, and transforms lives. We are proud and happy to have you among us. Welcome. Would you join me now in the spirit of prayer? Spirit of life and love, that which enlightens us and illuminates our way. We come together in a unity of spirit to celebrate the journey and commitment of these young people. We join together in remembrance. In this moment, we are grateful for all who have contributed to our Unitarian and Universalist faith and have brought us here today. May the lessons of our history teach us and offer us hope. We join together in promise. Here we commit ourselves to the new day dawning, even as some of us would long for the security of the old. May the promise of the future offer us hope. We join together in spirit. Blessed by remembrance and hope, we pray that we may love and serve one another. May we laugh together to lighten the load. May we have courage and strength. May we be seekers of justice and mercy. May we encourage each other forward into a future that honors our heritage, transforms ourselves, and transforms the world. Blessed be, and amen.
Let's join together in singing our closing hymn, Wo Ya Ya, hymn number 1020. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh ya ya, oh ya ya, oh ya ya, oh ya ya. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh ya ya, 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 yee 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 ya, oh ya ya, yee ya ya, oh ya ya, yee ya ya.
We will extinguish our chalices with these words from Robin F. Gray. The flame is extinguished, but not our hopes for the future, our courage in the face of crisis, or the love we share in all the world.
Let's join together in singing our unison benediction. How bountiful the blessings that surround us. We come together, grateful to be one. As we go forth and greet the days unwinding, the circle grows as pebbles thrown to pond. And oh, the Spirit guides us on our pathways, abiding in our hearts the bond of love.
And if you'd like to join in a virtual